All right, so this section right here is going to be our section that we're going to include our Simpson hardware. That includes things like joists, hurricane ties, or post bases. So once again, anytime you see a material list drop down, to change the material that's here, you click the plus sign. It'll take you to that section where you can either add material, remove a material, or change the price of the material that's in the system. So for single joists, these are going to be your most basic joist hangers, right? They're just gonna be able to carry one joist. So select your, which hanger you're going to use based on the dimension, and you'll see it will calculate how many you need based on the number of joists you have. So if we scroll up to section 1, which is our framing section, right? You can see we're going to need 16 joists. Now, let's say we're using a hot tub, right? And we're going to put a hot tub on this deck, and we need to beef up the deck. So we want to double up a couple joists, or many joists. So let's say we're going to double up 5 joists, meaning we're going to put 2 joists right together and fasten them together to make them stronger. We can now scroll down, and we can see that's now saying, hey, we only need 11 joist hangers for our single joists. That's because we've doubled up 5 of them. And that's what this double joist means. If we're doubling up joists, we're going to need wider joist hangers. And so you can select your wider joist hangers right here. So this will, based on whatever number you put into that doubled up joist section, this will calculate how many doubled up joists you need. Now the next section is going to be how many hangers per joist. So for each joist, the question means for each joist, how many hangers are going to be on that joist. So if you have a drop beam, a lot of times you'll just have one joist hanger at the ledger board at the house, and then that's it, right? You won't have any more joist hangers. So that would just be 1 hanger per joist. Now if you have a flush beam and you have a joist hanger at the house and then you have another joist hanger at the beam, that's going to be 2 joist hangers per joist. So that's what that means. You can see that's going to double up these numbers right here because we're doing 2 hangers for each joist. Now your ties at girder beam, what that means is for a dropped beam like this, a lot of times people will use certain hurricane ties to attach our joists to that beam. So if you're going to do that, right, you can select which hurricane ties you're going to use. Now if you click a plus sign, that'll take you to this section right here. You can kind of see the 2 you can choose from. You can change the price of those right here as well. So if you have a dropped beam, right, that means you probably just have 1 hanger per joist. And then if you're using ties at your beam, you're going to see you're going to need 16 because that's 1 per joist. Now post bases are going to be what you're attaching your posts to the concrete for, right? So that's going to be these things right here. So once again, if you click this plus sign, it'll take you to the section where you can change and add what post bases you're using. And you can see this also gives you a visual of the different post bases that you can use. So if you use this, select the ABA. You come back here. We've chosen 6x posts. You go 6x6 ABA, and that will calculate how many post bases you need for your structural post. And once again, if we scroll back to our framing section, you can see we've selected 1, 2, 3, 4 posts, right? Now we selected 5 posts. That will have changed the amount of posts that we need.